internet. Good day, lords and ladies of YouTube, and welcome to my second historical mukbang. So, last historical mukbang I did was a recipe from the Victorian era. It was a Victorian fruit cake. This is from medieval times, and it's called Pokerounce. It's a sweet dish. So we've got bread and we've got a sauce made from honey and spices, and then it's sprinkled with pine nuts. I've also got some honeycomb as well, partly just because I saw the honeycomb in the shop and decided I was going to make the dish with that. Just decided I'd splurge on it a little bit. But also because, honeycomb, of course, would have been around in medieval times. It's been around as long as bees have been around, I'm sure. And, it's a pretty popular thing to do in a mukbang. So I thought, why the heck not? Figured I'd try it out. I've not really had honeycomb before. I have tried it when I was a kid. I had a little bit on toast, but I've not had a whole comb to myself. So that should be nice. It should also be very, very sweet, but my teeth can handle it. I've got some tea here as well in a cup which is very not medieval, so I do apologise about that. I didn't think far enough in ahead to get myself a medieval looking cup. So the recipe is from a website called Good Cookery, spelled G-O-D-E, because that's how it would have been spelt back in medieval times. So they have lots of different recipes from medieval times, and they have some information on the language used at that time, other historical information about the medieval era. So it's great to have a look at if you're interested in that kind of thing, particularly if you're interested in historical food, like I am. I mean, I'm just interested in food in general. So here we are. You can see a video of me trying out the recipe of producing this. That came out last week. Now, I don't quite know if I've made it right. I'm a little bit dubious because the bread is sticking together. And I don't really, my senses tell me that that's not good, but I don't know, maybe it is. I suppose it's been sat for a while now because obviously, I'm taking my pictures and setting up my shots and all that sort of jazz. So I presume it would have been a little bit more runny. Oh geez, that really is solid now. I think it would have stayed solid had I not, been faffing around. But, hopefully it'll still taste good. So I might have left it cooking for a little bit too long. But yeah, we'll see how it tastes at any rate. So, geez, this looks really silly now. I'm just going to host it. I'm just going to bring over the whole thing and try not to dip my sleeve in my tea. I've got big fancy sleeves. Okay, I'm just gonna pick it all up as once and bite in. Very crunchy. It's kind of like caramel. The spices in there are cinnamon and I've forgotten already. I made it a few minutes ago. Cinnamon and still got them sat somewhere. Ginger, cinnamon, ginger. Why did I forget ginger? Now the recipe did actually state a third ingredient. A third spice, sorry, there's more than 3 ingredients, which was galangal, which we don't get in the UK nowadays. I suppose they did get it in medieval times, but not now. So Couldn't add that, but the spices are nice. Cinnamon and ginger and sweet stuff always go well. Great. Very chewy. To be fair, I think if I ate it earlier, it would have been too hot and I would have burnt my mouth. I'm going to try and tear the two bits apart. Wow. Jeez, this stuff's like cement. It is a lot like caramel. It tastes nice. It does. It tastes really nice and sweet and spicy. Where it's kind of impractical because it's so chewy. I can see that this is something that people would enjoy eating though. I kind of don't get the pine nuts in the dish. Now I like pine nuts as I cannot speak today. I like pine nuts as much as the next person, there we go. But I think because the dish is so crunchy and chewy, the pine nuts are kind of, they're like crunchy but soft. And I usually love that in like a pasta dish or something like that, but they're kind of lost in this. It's so chewy. It's a little bit like a distant cousin of cinnamon toast, I think. Well, I love cinnamon toast, but the texture of cinnamon toast is right. I suppose over the years we've perfected this. But I think it's amazing what people did create without modern technology. Still can't speak today. The dishes people made. And it's interesting to look at historical recipes and think about how they would have transformed into something that's modern. We've certainly gotten better at writing recipes, I can tell you that. Because I've said it in the recipe video, but so say one thing is that there's no quantity, so you don't know how much of anything you're supposed to add. So I just kind of, I just went for it. I think I got it fairly right. I've put in quite a lot of spice because I like a lot of spice. I like it spicy. But I think I may have slightly overdone it. It's fine for me, but I think if somebody else was eating it, it would be a little bit too spicy. Just gonna get some of this honey from the honeycomb on this dry bit of bread. I'm looking forward to trying this afterwards. Weirdly, the honey tastes more sweet. Than this, which is like cooked honey and spices. Now I am hoping that you're hearing all the crunching and chewing. Because I've got a new microphone. I really hope that you can tell the difference between the basically the camera's microphone and the new one. Otherwise it'll have been over £100 down the toilet. But I got it as kind of a birthday present for myself. Birthday's on the 25th of July, so it will have passed by the time this video comes out. But I did want to get it for a project that I want to do around my garden and food. Like I'm growing a little vegetable garden. So I've got a little project whirring my mind. It's being concocted up in there, and for that I wanted a good microphone. I know that the audio quality hasn't been so great in the past. I am not really that into audio. My hearing is quite bad in general, so if I can hear something, it's fine. You know, I'm used to things sounding not great because my ears are bust anyway. And I make it worse by listening to stuff with earphones in all the time. Oh my god. There's like a solid line of this stuff. It's only gonna get chewier from here, guys. My teeth hate me now. This would be great as a sweet. The kind of sauce stuff would be great as like a, you know, if you set it into a mold and had it, yeah, just as a sweet by itself, it would be really great. But it's a little bit weird on toast. For me personally, I think it's a bit weird on toast. Still, it's tasty, just like weird. I couldn't get through that bit. But yeah, I know the audio isn't great in my other videos. And this was kind of highlighted to me a little while ago. Not, you know, no, somebody didn't say straight out, your audio is terrible. Basically, I found out somebody misheard something. So the two ladies at Two Girls One Mukbang, who I think a few of my followers are also followers of them, so a lot of you will know them. They thought a few mukbangs ago, I'm trying to remember which one it was, I can't remember at the moment, but I was saying that I would be nervous to go into a Gucci store, you know, like the high-end fashion store, Gucci, because like I would find it intimidating to go in because it's an intimidating place to go in. I've never been in one, so I wouldn't know, but I imagine the staff would be quite snooty, and I'd be scared of like touching anything. But the ladies at Two Girls One Mukbang thought I said cheese. They thought I said cheese store. So they thought I would be nervous to go into it. Oh god, I've just sprayed all the crumbs everywhere. they thought I would be nervous to go into a cheese store, which I wouldn't be. I would be more than happy to go into a cheese store. So I know I've got audio issues, which hopefully this microphone will sort out. So please do let me know if you do notice a big difference. Let me know, because it is helpful. People with better ears need to tell me. Whoa. I just bit my mouth. That's the first time in a mukbang I've done that. I've never seen another mukbanger do that, actually. Is that something any of you have seen? A mukbanger biting the inside of a mouth? I'm sure it must have happened. The amount of times, like, in your life that you bite the inside of your mouth by accident, and the number of mukbang videos out there. Someone else must have bit their tongue on camera. Or their mouth. It was like, just there. This last bit is really thick, so I'm going to be sat here chewing some more, and then that's it. I can move on to the honey. I'm looking forward to it, because honestly my mouth is getting, my jaw's getting sore. My poor mouth. Just gonna eat these little pine nuts. There's one in the honey here. I'm going to spin this board round so that the honey's next to me. I'm going to get my hair out of the way because this is going to be sticky. Very sticky. Oh. I expected it to drip a little bit more. I'm sure it will when I tear it open. There you go. It's interesting to see the structure of it, actually. You can see all the little individual compartments. Okay, let's break this open. I'm gonna try and get it close to the microphone, which is just down here. Oh. I don't know if the microphone will have picked it up because oops, I spilled some of it. I hope the microphone's better than my ears because I couldn't really hear anything there, but it's a much lighter taste. Than the Pokerounce. The little compartments kind of burst in your mouth. The wax, it sounds like a really stupid thing to say, but the wax tastes of wax. It tastes like the smell of wax, if that makes sense. You can eat the wax, but I'm just going to spit it out because I'm just sat here chewing it. Put it off camera so you don't have to see it. That might add a lot of honey in it. This feels very indulgent. I'm just eating a load of sugar. If you could live in any time period, what time period would you live in? Let me know in the comments. Because I hadn't squished that bit, there was loads more that burst into my mouth. It's quite fun to eat. Mine is spitting out the wax. I'm going to be really boring and say if I could live in any time period, it would be now or maybe the near future. Why? Because we now have access to so many modern conveniences and modern healthcare. Back in ye olden times, if you got an infection, a bad infection, then you were dead. That was it. A slow, agonizing death from a simple infection. People are also a lot more tolerant now than they used to be. So we've got things like, rights, human rights. And we protect people of, or most people, protect people of different races and genders and sexual orientations, all that jazz. So things really aren't that bad. We've got modern stresses, but we've got a lot of good stuff going on. And the reason I wouldn't want to go too far in the future is because we don't know what's going to go wrong in the future. We know we're okay now, and we know things are better than they have been. I'm having a bit of a sugar overload now. Okay, last bit. If you've never tried honeycomb before, I recommend it. It's good fun to eat. Don't really recommend the Pokerounce though, I'm gonna say, but it was fun to try, and it was interesting, and it tasted good, but it just didn't like feel right. So yeah, it would have worked better as like a candy. Oh, I just went to drink my tea and I've run out. Don't you hate that when you go to have a drink of something and it's gone? Anyway, let me know if you would like me to try more medieval recipes or do more medieval or historical mukbangs. Hopefully I can find something that's a bit better, a bit more successful than the Pokerounce. There are a lot of recipes on that website, so I might try more from there. But if you can think of anything, or if you've seen anything specific that you would like me to give a go, then let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, give us a like, give us a comment, and subscribe for more content like this in the future. But for now, cheerio, bye.